Hello crafty friends, this is the Paper Chef here, and today I would like to show you how to cut out these beautiful mermaids using the Brother Scan and Cut. Okay, let's get started, and then while it's cutting, I'll tell you more about the stamp set I'm using and how I got to this point. Okay, so the first thing is, we have our Brother Scan and Cut. We turned it on, and you see pattern and you see scan. We are going to use scan, okay, and we're going to directly cut these mermaids out. We're not going to save them. Okay, that's why we're not using this option. We're going to directly cut them. So that's the option. I'm using black and white or grayscale recognition mode because they are black and white and there's a lot of detail. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and load my mat and I'm going to press start. So the Brother Scan and Cut is recognizing the mermaids right now. Okay, and it's going to be really easy for it to do that because these are nice, well-defined, connected lines. Okay, so here we are. Now let's see what kind of job it did. I'm going to go ahead and say okay. And pretty good. I mean, I have this whole set of mermaids over here. These two didn't get it, and that could be a couple reasons, but maybe my mat is a little dirty on that side, or maybe the sensors aren't real well on that side. I'm going to go ahead and select the area I want, which is all these mermaids. I'm going to go ahead and say ignore small objects because sometimes you have just little black parts that get selected. So I'm just going to ignore objects that are, let's say, less than ½ inch. I can delete them manually, which I will if I need to, but let's just go ahead and ignore those. And I'm going to go ahead and add an outline distance of 0.04, which is the smallest outline distance you can add, and it works pretty good. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say okay. Now, remember I told you you can delete the bits that you don't want. So this bit here should not be here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go into this editing mode, and I'm going to go ahead and trash that little extra bit because it would waste a lot of time. If I don't trash it, I'm going to have to waste a lot of time trying to cut it for no reason. Okay, I don't want to delete that. That's a mermaid. But I'm going backwards to the thing before it, and that's a little smudge of black ink. So I'm going to delete that. Now I'm left with just what I want to cut. Okay, perfect. I'm going to go ahead and cut. Now, it's going to take 2 minutes, and then I'll tell you about the stamp set I'm using. Stamp set. It's called Magical Mermaid by Stampin' Up. Beautiful images. Okay, I'm going to go around it. It's in our annual catalog. Okay, so beautiful sentiments. Now this is why I'm using it at this particular moment, is I thought this would be great for Valentine's Day for my coworkers. Mermaid kisses and starfish wishes. And that's because I'm going to give Hershey Kisses in a bag, and I thought this would make a beautiful topper for the bag. Now, I stamped these mermaids in Memento Black, and the reason I use Memento Black is because I'm going to color them with the blends. Our blends are alcohol markers, and if I would have used like archival black ink, then they could have smeared. I learned that lesson when I was using this Magical Day set. Okay, this Magical Day set. I learned that lesson when I tried to color these mermaids, which are beautiful. They came out beautiful, but I definitely learned I better use Memento ink, and I should have known better. All right, so go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and remove these from the mat. So let's go ahead and say okay. And I'm going to remove the mat. And I want to tell you, remember I told you I'd tell you how I got to this point. So before the video started, what I did is I stamped a page of mermaids. And I stamped them. Let me grab the other page. Okay. I stamped them right here on Whisper White cardstock. And sometimes like a little gap would be on the mermaid. And in that case, I just took a blender pen and I dipped it in. There's a blender pen. These are great for touching up things. Okay, so what I did is I took a blender pen and I dipped it in the Memento ink, and then I filled in any little spots on the mermaids so that they'd come out really nice. Okay, so that's how I got to this point. I stamped a page of mermaids, Memento black ink onto Whisper white cardstock. Okay, I stamped a whole page. I touched them up with this, blender pen. Okay, now then I took the mat and I put the piece of Whisper white cardstock onto the mat using painter's tape. And the reason I did that is because the mats are not very sticky, and you can watch lots of tutorials on how to restick your mats, and good luck to you for that. But you know, baby wipes might help a little, but I found that the resticking them with the glue, two-way glue, didn't really work because it kind of gunked up my blade. So I'm back to just using, you know, painter's tape, which is fine. It holds everything into place. You just have to remember not to cover up these numbers, because these are what the Brother Scan and Cut needs to recognize your images. Okay, so that's what I did. I'm just gonna go around. These are the little bits I told you I was ignoring object size so we could get rid of them. And if you recall, this is one of those black bits that I removed manually, okay, when I went into the editing mode. Okay, so there's the painter's tape. You see how I went right out to the edge, and I didn't want to mess up the mat. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and show you the easiest way to remove these. Oh, right here, okay? So here, I'm just bending. Well, you couldn't see that. I'm gonna do the next one inside the field of view. So here's my mat. I'm bending the mat, okay? When you bend the mat, these come right off. Very easy. Okay, so I'm removing my mermaids, and then I'll be coloring my mermaids. So please be sure to check out my blog, and because I will be talking about, I'll give you the address in a minute, but I'm going to be talking about how I color these, or I'm going to show you what I make, my treats that I make from these beautiful mermaids, okay? And lastly, I need to always talk to my crafty friends about the blade depth, because this is the most common question I'm asked when I do Brother Scan and Cut tutorials, is what blade depth. Okay, I went right before 5. I mean, I usually can do, for Whisper white cardstock, I can go up to 5, I'm fine. I can go anywhere between 4 and 5, I'm fine. But I don't go to 4 because 4 just doesn't give me a clean cut. So there I was. It was in this particular day, with the mat I'm using, I went about 4.75. So let's just say, as a rule of thumb, when you're using designer series paper, you can go with a 4. When you're using Whisper white cardstock, because it's a light cardstock, you can go with a 5. And when you're using thick cardstock, like our Stampin' Up! Cardstock brands, you can go with a 6. Okay, so now I'm going to show you one other thing I thought about doing with these, besides the toppers, where I told you I'm going to make some Hershey Kisses and some toppers, is I thought it would be fun to use an embossing folder. Okay, and so we have a Seaside Textures embossing folder. Okay. That's what that looks like. That's what the package looks like. So I embossed some cards. This would be, the card would be Soft Sky. Okay, that's the cardstock. And I only embossed the front of the cardstock. And then I think it'd be great to put the mermaid over that, along with some other embellishment. So if I use this on a card, so I plan on using some on cards and some on toppers. And after I embossed, I just lightly went over the embossing folder with some Dapper Denim. So I can't wait to see how these turn out. So I'm going to be making cards, Hershey Kisses, treats with these mermaids. My blog is called thepaperedchef.com. Not pampered, papered. So be sure to spell that right. And there'll be a link at the end of this video. So you can go ahead and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want more Brother Scan and Cut tutorials and more crafty inspiration. Or you can go ahead and visit my blog because there'll be a link. Thank you for watching.